Hello, you're listening to Geek Dimension, the podcast.
Occurrence Number 3.
I'm one of your hosts, Job.
This is Maru.
And of course, Elijah.
Today's topic, we are talking about time travel in our entertainment. First of all, there's different ways people view time travel. Some of them say you can't change it, it's already happened in the movies. Some of them say you can change it. There's always different means of travel.
And also, you're forgetting, some say you can't go there because it hasn't happened yet.
Right, there are some movies that say that, but the movies that we're talking about today, you can.
Exactly.
Which makes it fun. First of all, some time travels use machines like Bill and Ted or Back to the Future.
That was the coolest take. A phone booth traveling the circuits of time.
Gentlemen, that was another take on a movie. Of course, there was always the famous DeLorean, which was an interesting time machine.
Let's face it,
My
the DeLorean
favorite.
was the most elegant time travel device invented.
It was. That was really cool. Then you have your basic, like Star Trek movie 4, where they just shot around the sun.
Shot around the sun until you hit time warp and then go faster than time warp. And
Well, that's crazy.
crazy. R.B. Wells, Captain.
Then there's
Debbie Wells here.
the Wells version time machine, which is just kind of a couch-looking thing with a big wheel in the back.
Well, they did an update to that starring Roddy McDowall and Mary Steenburgen. He played H.G. Wells, and she was just your average 1979, I believe it came out, woman. Liberated, fighting for her freedom to do whatever the heck she wanted to. And he has to come back, kill Jack the Ripper because he stole his time machine. Very good movie.
Interesting. The Wells time machine that I enjoyed most of, I didn't care for the ending, was the 2002 version with Guy Pearce.
I agree. That was a very good update, and it held pretty true to the original manuscript.
Yeah, the ending, I didn't really care for the ending, but it did have a lot of cool, interesting twists to it. But I like Guy Pearce, though.
The one thing the movie proved, that when someone's meant to die, they're meant to die, and you cannot change that.
Yeah,
Time machine, yeah.
yeah, that was a
Because
interesting one.
that's the inspiration that was the catalyst that made him invent the machine, thinking he could go back and stop her death.
Right. So there's that form of machine. Then there's just teleporters that teleport you through time, such as like Terminator,
Dominator.
or the movie Timeline. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. There's also initially it was in Quantum Leap. It was a machine that you just teleported.
And
Initially.
then later,
Quantum Leap rules.
unfortunately, it was canceled about 2 years before I was ready for it to end.
Yeah, The Time Cop was another movie.
They used a device.
They used a device to teleport you through. The movie's 12 Monkeys.
Well, I didn't quite understand 12 Monkeys.
That was just a freaky movie anyway.
What do you mean you didn't understand it?
I just did not understand the movie.
It was complex, but another thing I wanted to talk about interesting on time travel is it has already happened.
Yes.
So you time travel, but your time traveling was already going to occur. Interesting fact on what they do on that.
Another form of time travel deals with multiple dimensions.
True. If you
The
want to
whole premise of Sliders was, say, you've got Planet A, Planet B, and Planet C. Planet A is in the year 2008. Planet B is, from their cultural and everything, their same year, but technologically, they're a few years ahead of us.
Right. The movie The
That
One
wasn't
also.
time travel. That was multi-dimensional.
Yeah, that was
jumping.
multi-dimensional. Yeah. The movie The One also dealt with jumping
The
dimensions.
multiverse.
Yeah. Another means of people time traveling, in a sense, is getting frozen.
Frozen in time.
Frozen.
A long trip to the future.
Yeah, but to them it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
So
Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers,
Austin Powers.
Demolition Man. There's an episode in South Park where Carmen does it.
Oh.
He couldn't wait for the Nintendo Wii to come out, so he wanted to freeze himself so he wouldn't have to suffer anymore while it waited. Well, the whole premise is he does the whole Buck Rogers thing, so he gets frozen in time for like 400 years or something like that. It was kind of silly.
Even our illustrious Star Trek pulled that number.
That's true.
Was it the first or the second season to where they found those 3 people in a cryogenics
that was
satellite?
Yeah, that was the second season.
Original Star Trek did it. Botany Bay.
Very true.
That's true. So there's the frozen in time thing. Then there's the aspect of looking at time of how you affect it. Again, there's certain movies like Bill and Ted, stuff like that, to where you can't affect it. It's already happened. But then if you get into Back to the Future or Quantum Leap, where you can affect it.
Case in point, Marty McFly, in that his parents got together. But the original timeline, they got together, they have just a humdrum marriage. Because he never stood up for himself anywhere, anytime, and all his little hopes and dreams went to nothing. But in the Marty McFly version, he waylaid Biff in the parking lot just before the prom, thus giving him the courage to be able to take those little hopes and dreams and make them possible because of that one key event, standing up for himself.
Did you know that the Biff character was actually originally a stand-up comedian? The guy, what's his name?
I couldn't even begin to
Bill Taver something. Anyway, he used to be a stand-up comedian.
You're kidding me.
The character Biff, he was a stand-up comedian.
He plays the bully so well.
I know, isn't that interesting?
Mad Dog Tennant.
Well, I mean, everybody now knows him as the antagonist in the movie. Let's see,
probably totally ruined his comedic act.
Yeah, I guess it would. Another movie where you time travel to change your present was kind of creepy was Butterfly Effect. That was kind of a...
It was a cheap, low-budget movie, and yet you wouldn't know it.
That's
because
true.
What they had, they made the most of.
Yep, that's true.
I love the shimmering when he's going back in time. The whole room starts to shake and everything, and then pop. It's like, whoa, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, that was kind of neat.
Yeah, he wakes up, he has no arms, no legs.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That would be pretty freaky.
Then there's another time aspect, loops.
Oh, yes.
Loops.
And here's a piece of trivia. What famous special day of the week in the month of February is this movie's title? You have 5 seconds.
Your mama wears combat boots?
No.
5 seconds.
That would be
Groundhog Day.
Exactly.
So, also, excellent movie. Excellent movie. I love the loops. There's a lot of other movies that do, I don't know about movies that do loops. There's one episode in particular in Star Trek, the episode called Cause and Effect, where they kept looping. Very interesting.
Was that Worf did one to where he lost a Batleth tournament, he won a Batleth tournament?
Oh, no, that was a different. This one was at the very beginning. This ship comes out of this portal. Another Federation,
yes.
And it hits one of the nacelles.
Blowing up over and over and over again.
Correct. And Captain
All
Picard.
hands, abandon ship, abandon ship.
I know. When I saw that, when I first saw that, and Picard saying all hands abandoned ship, I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh! And then it blows up. I'm like, oh my gosh!
And then Data, oddly enough, Data through future causality or past causality or causality because he wants to. He figured it out. The little pips, the 2 little pips on Lieutenant. 3 pips on Commander Riker's uniform.
Right. There's an episode in Xena, Warrior Princess. It starts off just a regular, normal day. The title episode is called Been There, Done That. And starts off, you're watching normal day, and all of a sudden, Jockster gets killed.
It's like, oh no.
Not Jockster.
Relief.
I know, not Jockster. Jockster's cool. Well, he's
a dweeb, but he's our kind of dweeb.
Yeah, and he dies, and you're like, oh man, this show sucks. Then it starts over again. Okay, the second day, Gabrielle dies, and you're like, what?
They're killing off the cast.
I know, except for Xena, she never dies. So
of course she can't. Otherwise, it'd be called canceled.
So then Xena's starting to figure it out. One episode, she throws her shotgun right in Jockster's chest.
It's like, Jockster, I've had it with you. You will
She's
die.
So sick. She just throws it right in his chest, and Gabrielle's like, oh my gosh. And so it keeps repeating, and then finally she figures out that someone made a deal with one of the gods that a hero has to save somebody and do something on the other side of town.
It's always those pesky gods. They're getting in the way every time.
Every time. But anyway, it was a good episode. I do like the time loop movies. Then there's other movies where they just travel in the past and
hang out
and come back to the future and nothing big really happened.
Cave Girl.
There's another movie called Timeline. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with that movie.
We got to mention Free Jack,
another good movie. But
that was a machine.
That was
cool.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie.
And it's one of the few where Mick Jagger plays in anything.
I know. And he did a decent job.
Yes, he did.
Did a decent job.
Furlong.
Good movie, Free Jack.
I own that on DVD, by the way.
One other movie I wanted to talk about was Paycheck, where they saw the future.
Ben Affleck and Uma Thurman.
Right, where they saw the future.
Now
to change the present.
That was a very interesting premise.
Yeah, I like that. I did too. That was a very good movie too. Then there's the
Devil's Advocate. Yeah, he goes up there and he goes through and he lives his life and everything like that.
Is that with Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
Yeah, and then at the end he's just like, well, he finally figures out a way to beat the devil by killing himself, so he kills himself, and when he does, all of a sudden he goes, shh, and he's right back at the beginning again. Yeah.
I found it to be a good movie.
I thought it was pretty good.
And-
A little graphic in some areas.
Also, you get to fully see the potential of Charlize Theron.
Right. Another
Who's
movie.
Charlize Theron?
She plays his
She's the redhead or is she the blonde?
the blonde.